Ladies and gentlemen, we are back with the fastest podcast on the airwaves today, the Cat's Corner Podcast, with your host, the four-time world karate champion, WCW legend, WWE legend, Academy Award-winning nominated movie actor, Ernest the Cat Miller, along with his co-host, Big Shug Keziah, manager of future Hall of Famers, joined by our friend, the master of the Orient, the Mr., the man that has done more in the wrestling ring than Godzilla did to Tokyo. The man is Sonny Onoo. How you doing, Mr. Sonny?
I'm doing good. I'm doing really good.
Sonny, let me ask you this, son. I'm going to get started right on you, Sonny.
All right.
When last night, during the debate, Donald Trump talked about people that were eating cats and dogs. I mean, did you know anything about that?
Man, I thought he was going to go there, you know. I thought he was going to go and blame it on Chinese and stuff. Koreans.
He's mad. He's mad at you Chinese guys in a way. Because he think you guys brought over the
coronavirus.
That's Chinese. We didn't. Come on, man, now. That's
the Japanese didn't do it.
Okay, all right.
The China virus.
Yeah, we have no Wuhan in Japan.
That's right.
Okay, well, I didn't know. I just wanted to clear that up.
And you know, I just want to make sure, Ernest, you know, since you're so light skinned and all, I don't know how much Haitian you in you. You know what I mean?
I'm black. I'm black.
I'm
black.
I'm black.
Well, Camilla, when did you turn black?
I'm all black, brother.
Him and Camilla did it at the same time.
Well, we're in Cody, Wyoming. You were Indian.
Oh, yeah.
For a weekend. Just a weekend. Once I left there, I was back to being black here in Atlanta, Georgia.
Just like you, Shihan. You know what I mean?
Okay, Sonny, listen. This is why I call this meeting of smart people, the three of us. And this is kind of like a meeting. I listened to a podcast the other day, and there was Buff Bagwell on there. And Buff Bagwell was talking about the big fight at Sturgis between him and myself.
What?
Is this the one where he whooped your ass?
Now listen, it wasn't before we go there, Big Ray, I just want to tell you, I was 25-0 kickboxing and karate going in to be once I set my first step in the ring. I was undefeated in the real karate world.
Okay.
So do you think a pro wrestler was going to be my first loss?
I don't know, man. He's a tough dude, man. Y'all were up there surrounded by a bunch of bikers. A lot of gasoline smoke could have gotten your eyes, could have gotten your lungs, could have had you messed up a little bit. He could have got you. I don't know. I just heard.
Ray, listening to you is just like listening to Donald Trump make up stories last night. I mean, you can't believe nothing that comes. You can't believe nothing that's coming out of your jaws.
You're a loser. Loser. Anyway, so what happened then? Why is he telling everybody he got you?
We're Resite. Of course we offer all-inclusive site work. We're Resite. Of course we have a dynamic site crew. We're Resite. We have secure foundations. We're Resite. Of course we're good stewards. Resite redefines the way site work is done. Contact us at resite.com. It's re-site.com.
Is he just trying to get clicks?
I don't really think he's telling everybody that he got me. Well, I'm gonna tell you the story. And the reason I'm glad I got you here, Sonny, because if you go and look at Mark Bagwell YouTube plays and his page and he telling his story, I'm telling you right now, he's all by himself. He's in his own world, not just on the video, talking about the fight we had. Who in the world believed that story but himself? And
Were
I'm
you
gonna
there,
tell you,
Sonny?
I was
You were
right
there?
there. I
You were
was
there.
there.
so I'm gonna tell. Do we want to talk about the way he delivered the story first?
Yes. I want to know
Okay.
what he said.
Okay, Ray, did you check it out like I asked you to?
Well, I breezed through it. I caught bits and pieces, but let's catch the audience up that may not know. You tell them in your words what he said about you.
Well, the Buff Bagwell story is this right here. Buff said that I got mad, Sonny, because you remember during the Monday night before the pay-per-view, Buff went out there. His gimmick was dressing up as people he was going to wrestle. So he dressed up as the cat. Remember that? He had the little fake Sonny
Ball
Onoo
cap
guy
and
there.
all.
Yeah. Now, once that went down on TV and you and I was looking at that in the back, did either one of us get mad?
No, we laughed. Matter of fact,
Yeah.
I loaned that dude who played me with the rubber Asian mask on. It was one of the referee, remember?
Yeah.
And I lent him my jacket. He used my jacket.
And so the story starts there. When he said he came and cleared something with me, he didn't have to clear anything
He
with
didn't
me.
clear nothing.
He just told me, say, hey, this is what we're going to do. And I knew what he was going to do.
Yeah.
Wasn't no big deal. It's my job. So he went to the ring, and he came to the ring, and he had a little black face on, black head, looking bald, had the suit on that I had to have on. He matter of fact, he had the jacket that I let him use too.
Yeah.
He danced, and he act like me. And then
Red shoes?
I hit the ring. Hey, don't cut me off.
I just asked if he had on red shoes or not.
Okay, I mean, don't cut me off for nothing. You understand?
Did he have on red shoes or not?
Don't cut me off when I'm talking. Let me tell my story. It's hard enough to tell the story, and you keep cutting me off. So
I know
anyway,
you've got some traumatic problems with it because you're getting over an ass whooping. I get it. All right.
yeah. So whatever, Donald Trump. So whatever. So when we went to after that, we hit the ring. Remember, we hit the ring, and then I beat him down. Then I dropped my elbow, and I got the mic. I said, "Hey, you may look like the cat, but you surely can't dance like the cat." Then I did my little dance, did my elbow, and dropped the elbow on him. And the crowd popped big. It went over good. We all left the ring.
It was a nice segment. And only question I had after the fact, I think you and I, we kind of looked at each other and says, wow, I'm really amazed that censor let them do that. I think that's about the only thing we said.
Donnie, that's how you were looking at it. I wasn't really looking at it like that. I just looked at it. It was just part of the show, and we had this angle going. So with this thing going on, that's just what happened. So it was fun. I mean, we had a great time.
Yeah, none of us were upset.
Yeah. So the next step gonna be the pay-per-view in Sturgis. So we get the Sturgis, man, and this is my first time out there. I'm seeing all these beautiful motorcycles, man. Listen, around the ring, they didn't have seats. They just had like motorcycles. Remember that?
It was all motorcycles. They weren't wrestling fans. They were bikers.
They were bikers. And so we already knew they were going to be against us. But it was fun. We had a great time. But anyway, so at Sunday night, if we get to the hotel where we stand to get to the venue, we walked by a car. And as we walked by the car, I looked in the car, and it was the booker. I forgot his name. What was his name? Who was the booker there, son?
Graham.
Yeah, Graham. Graham was the Graham.
Eddie Graham?
Yeah,
not Eddie Graham. Not Eddie. His son. God, what is his name? Mike Graham.
Yes.
Yeah, Mike Graham. So Mike Graham was the booker. So as we walked past this car, Mike Graham and Buff Bagwell was sitting in the car.
Mm.
And when I said they was drunk, they was drunk. I mean, Buff was like, it might have been something else, but he was out of it. But we looked in the car and said, hey, what's up, guys? How you doing? They said, hello. Buff said, hey, Ernest, how you doing? Like always, really nice. Like always, really nice. So We get to the venue, they come to get us. And they said, the bookers, hey, we about ready to go over your match, Cat. Get Sonny. We got Buff. We waiting in the catering. That's all right. I'll be there in a minute. So when I walked in, Sonny, his wife, and wasn't your grandkid?
No, it was my baby, my youngest, was probably
Yeah.
only about 2 years old.
Yeah. They were sitting on one side of the table, and Buff was sitting on the other side of the table.
It was Ray, it was like a picnic table. You know what I mean? It was a bench.
Yep.
A fixed bench, chair on one side, table. Then we were sitting on this side, and Ernest was standing behind me, right by my wife, who was standing. Buff was on the other side, and they were going over the match.
And now let me take it from there. So we going over the match, and once we get to the producer telling her what the match gonna look like, Buff get this sour look on his face. And I was thinking maybe because he had been earlier, he was a little intoxicated. So I was thinking maybe he still had a little bit of that left over. But as Mike Graham, who he was sitting in the car with, said, okay, Buff, you gonna do the job. Once Buff found out he was gonna lose, because see, we already had plans for me. I was coming up. I was moving along. They already had plans for me to go and work with. I forgot who I was working with on the next pay-per-view. See, if you listen to Buff tells the story that he got mad because he did not want to work. They were going to try to make him work another angle with me into the next pay-per-view, which was totally fabricated.
No, I didn't know any of that stuff.
Yeah,
the Sturgis pay-per-view was going to be end of our feud.
Yeah, and if you listen to Buff, he tells the story like, Ernest and I, we are not Hogan and Macho Man, and this is not an angle to where people were gonna get what people were with me. I was over. I was new. They were already told me after you beat Buff, you're gonna go and you're gonna wrestle on the next pay-per-view. But Buff's story is Buff said he sat there and he listened to these guys try to talk him in to doing another pay-per-view angle with me, which was totally, he know it wasn't true. Buff face changed as soon as they say, Ernest, you go over, Buff, you do the job. True or false, Sonny?
Well, I knew that even before that. Before the pay-per-view, Ray, as you know in wrestling, they set things up so that there's a payoff. Pay-per-view is a payoff.
Correct.
We're both heels in essence, so, but Buff was being that the NWO character, the making fun of people, and there was a lot going on. They did that with Arn and Ric Flair, those group NWO guy made a,
the parody of the Horsemen and all that stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
So they basically did the same thing with Cat and I. They were making fun of us. They were, which was fine. We knew that was going there. But from what I understand, now things could change. What it was being set up, it was we were going over, and then moving on to a different thing. There was no
now let me tell you, Vanessa, moving on to the next thing. So that's what we had in mind. So either way, they had already told me, I don't know what pay-per-view will come in next, but I knew I was going to wrestle. I knew who I was going to wrestle and who I was going to work with for that month leading up to that next pay-per-view. So this was the end of the thing between Buff and I. So they told me, Mike Graham said, okay, Cat, you go over. As soon as he said that, Buff got this crazy look on his face like, well, listen, how did he go over? And I did such and so on TV. I put him over on TV, which he didn't. We put him over every match. He got the win. The only time we left him land in the ring was when we hit the ring after he dressed up like us.
When he did the parody, yeah, what you're supposed to.
Yeah. So we get there, man, and I'm looking and talking to Mike Graham, and not one time did anybody fear Buff or fear anything. Mike Graham was right there, and Mike said, well, Cat's going to win. He said, no, I'm not doing the job. Cat is not supposed to win. And I'm kind of like, listen, I don't care if I win or lose. I still get paid more money than you. I get paid more money than you, so I don't care when or lose. This is fake.
He
I'm
didn't
not
say
gonna
that,
argue.
but he was
No,
thinking.
yeah,
In your
I'm
mind,
not.
that's what you're thinking.
I'm not gonna argue with you over who gonna win or who lose this. I'm a real fighter. But as I noticed, he kept looking at me like I wasn't even talking. It was Mike Graham behind me telling him what was going on, what was going to happen in the match. But his face, man, just started to turn red. His neck started to break out with sweat. He was just looking. I said, this dude is still drunk.
Ernest, let me interrupt you, and let me say this is how I remember. So Ray, the picture of the table. My wife is sitting down with my 2-year-old baby. I'm sitting down next to her. Ernest is standing next to me or behind me. Buff's on the other side, and they're basically going over the match with Graham, and either Graham said something going over the match. And Ernest didn't say a word. Ernest made a smirk or made a facial gesture, not very subtle. And that's when Buff, you remember this, Cat. That's when Buff said, "There you go again, Cat."
Yeah.
Remember that?
Now think about this. Buff and I had never had a problem at all.
No, then Ernest said, "What are you talking about?"
But let's put this into perspective. Buff, we know Buff was going through, he was having some drug issue with the pills and stuff, right?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
So that's when he was really kind of in the midst of that evil thing, taking pills and drinking. So I kind of understood what might have been happening right at that moment. But when he looked at me with the look in his eyes, and he started to kind of like draw back. That's all I saw. I just saw, listen, I'm a fighter. I've looked into people's eyes that had bad intentions. They was about to knock my head off. That's what they thought. And these are real fighters I'm talking about. These are real fighters. Like we talking about people like Ernest who's Rick Rufus. We talking about real fighters.
Big Shug. Real fighters. Yeah, go ahead. I'm with you.
See, Shug, that's why people don't like you, because you try to interfere. Bring something to the table to talk to us about. Now, you got Ric Flair we're going to talk about in a minute. You just
keep getting your ass whooped by Buff. Let me hear it.
So anyway, as the story goes on, Buff just made this look, and I just saw his hand look like this guy. Oh, I know he's not about to. Wait a minute. I know he's not. He's not going to try to hit me. I know there's no way this guy going to swing on me. So I just saw the face drop, the eyes drop low, the knees bent, the hands open. I said, this is a white hand. He's about to try to slap me with a white hand. My first time ever. Sonny.
Yeah.
Hear these guys what happened after that.
Here's what happened. So Buff says to Cat, "There you go again." And Ernest didn't say anything. He made some kind of gesture, but it was nothing overly anything.
Because I didn't know. I looked to the side. When I looked away,
I remember Buff said, "There you go again," and took his hand, crossed the table with his right arm, tried to slap Cat. Cat just did what you normally do. He just leaned back, hand went right by. And next thing you know, mind you, my wife is sitting right here. I'm here, Cat's here, and he jumps over the table.
Cat did.
Cat jumped over the table, and they did a roll around. And
no, I went over the table and I locked up with him. When I said locked up with him, he was on his back. This dude grabbed me. Everybody started grabbing me then. So no punches was thrown. No. This dude, man, Dillinger grabbed me so tight that they would calm down, Cat, calm down. Even Buff was holding on to me, telling me, calm down, Ernest, calm down. I'm sorry. He apologized right away. So when they released us, I said, I'm all right. I'm not mad. They said, well, Eric want to see you in the office. So now this is where his story changed a little bit right here.
Does it?
Buff say that once we got to Eric Bischoff's office, the boss, Eric started ripping us a new asshole. He started telling us, you doing this? What are you guys doing? What are you doing here? What are you doing there? Eric did not do that. Eric just came and said, what's going on with you guys? Why are you guys in there? We got all these executives up here. Why are you guys in there fighting? What's going on? So out of the blue, this dude looked at Sonny, because Sonny was in there with me. We were getting ready to go to the match. Sonny was just standing there in Eric's office, and Buff looked at him and said,
he said, this motherfucker.
This little bit of mother, you know what? It was all his fault.
He put it on me. He put it on me.
And Sonny just picked his hands up like, what did I do?
I said, what the fuck?
What did I do? And I was like,
that's what Eric said. I remember what Eric exactly. Shut the hell up, Buff. Because Sonny didn't have nothing to do with anything.
Yeah, exactly. Then he said, listen, if you guys can't go out there and wrestle, we're gonna just do away with this match. and when he said we're gonna do away with this match, I said, listen, I was gonna get paid anyway. I think Buff get paid by the match. I was gonna get paid anyway. I was gonna get paid $150,000 that month anyway. So when Buff heard that, and he said, are you guys gonna still work or what? And Buff said, hell no. I'm not gonna get in the ring with this mother and he's mad at me.
Well, he was afraid of you.
Yeah, he said, I'm not gonna get in the ring with him and he's mad at me. And then guess what I did? I went over there and put my arm around Buff. And I said, no, Buff, we can have a match. I mean, I'll take care of it. And matter of fact, you go over. Just let us get the heat on you at the end.
Yeah.
And he said, for real? He said, yeah. As soon as we walked out the room, and I looked back at Eric, and Eric winked at me. He winked. You know that wink mean?
Go kick his ass.
Do what? Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So I had the green light if I wanted to put these hands on him for real. Now, when you listen to Buff's story, Buff said we went in there, Sonny. Listen to this, Sonny. Buff said we went into Eric's office and Eric chewed us out. Then he told me, Ernest Miller, I don't know what your damn problem is, but right now, and he said, I started to bring up the blackface stuff. I was like, what? He said, yeah, I didn't know Ernest was angry about the blackface thing I had did about him and the following the Monday before. And I was like,
that's not true. Yeah.
No, never mentioned it.
Never. I never said anything about that. But this was his story. If you go to his YouTube, you'll hear this story. And then he said, Eric looked at me and said, Ernest, I don't know what the fuck wrong with you, but you get your ass out there and you take that brain buster.
That blockbuster he does, yeah.
What was it? What was that? What was the name of
the block? It was called the blockbuster. He come off the top rope, did a little
flip
he said, it, like a reverse neck breaker. But go ahead.
He said, Ernest, Eric told Ernest, you get out there, you take that fucking blockbuster. You hear me? I was like, what? Eric would never talk to me like that.
No.
Never. He would never talk. But then Buff said, he looked at Eric and said, damn, finally someone is standing up for me.
Yeah, that's a fabrication. I was there. Matter of fact, remember Eric had his office was a bus. Remember?
Yeah.
We had to go on a bus.
The Prevost.
One of those limousine bus that we had there.
The Prevost coach.
Yep. That's where the meeting took place. And he just said now mind you, Eric was upset in the sense that the incident happened in a catering where there was other Turner executive was there. That's what Eric was upset about. Other than that, he says, what the hell's wrong with you guys?
And it could have got out of hand, but it didn't.
And by the way, Sonny,
Yeah.
Buff did not swing at me. He didn't get a chance to get it off. I was in his chest before he even threw back. Now, if you go and listen to Booker T, who was right across from us watching this whole thing too, listen to Booker T's story. Booker T told me, he said, Ernest was just like a real kung fu master when he went over the table at him. And I'm telling you, listen to what Booker T said about the fight. But you know what? Even after the fight, we went out there, Sonny, and be honest, we had one of the best matches on the card.
I will tell you this. I will tell you this, and I was really impressed with it. I'm not saying that because he's, this is his podcast and he's my friend and all that.
Right.
But what I was really impressed was with the fact that if somebody tried to, take a cheap shot at me, and it always amazed me as a professional wrestler themselves can go back in the ring and work with each other. Whether they like him, they hate him, whatever. They got an issue with each other, that they can actually go in the ring and perform as a professional. That always was impressive. But for a guy like a Cat, he was a new guy. And not only that, he's a shooter. He can mess people up, And especially back then, he was lean and mean and he was fighting all the time.
Right.
Real fight shape. So for him
the level of his professionalism this early in his career had to be commendable.
Actually, I was amazingly impressed.
Yeah. Because most people,
I don't know if I could have done that.
Most people that early in their career would have probably taken it into their own hands and done something stupid.
I'm gonna tell you why. As a karate instructor, I was making about $4,000 or $5,000 a month. I go from making $4,000 or $5,000 a month to getting almost $120,000 per month. Who want to mess up that gig?
That's what I'm saying. You ain't gonna mess your money up. You ain't stupid.
No. So anyway, the match went off, man, and it was a good highlights in there, brother. I mean, the fight itself.
I watched it. It was a good match.
The fight itself probably was one of the best. I mean, I was at my best. And I'm going to tell you how much I was on. When you get the crowd booing you and they hate you and you stand on the top rope and you put your arms up in the air and they boo. So I went to that corner. I stood up on that corner and the motorcycle was rearing their motorcycle and they were booing me. And then out the corner of my eye, I just slightly looked to my right and somebody had threw a water bottle at me. And I looked and I caught the water bottle, opened it up and started drinking it. And then when I got down and came down to the mat, Sonny, you remember what you asked me?
How the hell did you do that?
Sonny said, how in the hell you get the water? Then where did the water come from?
Where'd the water come from?
I just looked up and you were drinking water. I said, somebody told me, I think it was Raven. Raven told me somebody threw something at him. He just opened up, start drinking. Or he'll go out and grab somebody's beer and start drinking. The crowd go crazy. They threw the bottle at me and I didn't see. I just looked over like it was in slow motion, Ray. And I caught the bottle with one hand, opened the bottle of water and started drinking it, then threw it back out there at the motorcycle guys. And it was a huge pop. Sonny got the best pop because when I got down, he was like, where the hell did that water come from?
I'm like, what the hell?
He said, how you get, first you were just standing up there with your hands up, then Nathan, no, you drinking a bottle of water.
If somebody could have even tossed it to him, but he wasn't one of those. Somebody threw it at him.
They were trying to hit your ass with it.
And they were flipping over. But see, listen, that's how in tune I was with my abilities. I was a martial artist, a true martial artist, a true athletic martial artist. Do you think that somebody who never had a winning fight in their life could stand a chance against a world karate champion, a world kickboxing champion, or any kind of top-notch athlete?
I'm just glad for his sake he didn't go any further.
Hey, but guess what? We got over that. We hugged and everything, and I moved on. I moved on and moved away from that. But it was good. It was funny to hear him talk about it on the radio, and it made me laugh on this YouTube channel. Now, this is right here going to be on our YouTube channel right here.
Right.
This right here is
absolutely.
my story. This is my story about Ernest the Cat Miller and Buff Bagwell fight at Sturgis. Because people
Right.
talk about it. I just never said anything about it.
We've kind of brushed over it before, but we never really went into detail about it early on when we first started. There was also a story that we kind of brushed on. We didn't really go into a lot of detail about our man Vince Russo and our own Sonny Onoo. And I'd like to touch on that if we could get a little behind the scenes on that one.
Hey, Sonny, listen.
Yeah.
Tell us a Vince Russo story. I'd like to hear your story. Tell us a little Vince Russo story.
Well, you know, I mean, it's a matter of somebody who's not used to working for a corporate situation. I know he came from WWE, but you know, you cannot when you working for a company like Time Warner, AOL Time Warner, Turner Broadcasting. You cannot be the new guy. He came in to replace a head writer or people in that position to replace Eric Bischoff. As you know, when he came in.
So let me ask you this, Sonny. What job title did he have? I remember him being head writer or something. What
I think he was head of creative. I think that's how he came in. Now they have just gotten rid of the Eric Bischoff guy named by Bill Bush.
Whoa! They didn't get rid of Eric Bischoff. Eric Bischoff had to take a break.
They told him to go home.
Yeah, take a break. Go take a rest.
Yeah. Well, however you want to. They told him that Dr. Schuler told him to go home.
He went fishing.
Take it. It wasn't like he had a choice. He wasn't fired. He was, like you said, he was still on. He still had his deal. The guy named by Bill Bush, actually, those are the guy who created a coup. The field of vice president got together and said, "We need to get rid of Eric. We need something else." And there was inside conversation going on between Vince Russo and Bush. Bush brought Vince Russo in as head of creative, but the time when he came in, it's a matter of public record. You can look it up, or it's on the internet everywhere. Vince Russo did a on Time Warner website interview that went on to basically said, I'm not paraphrasing, but he said he didn't give a shit about the Japanese, he didn't give a shit about the Mexican, and I'm from America, and I want to see America on TV. Woo. You will never, ever, ever, ever see Japanese guy getting over on my TV.
But Sonny, I'm just asking, and I know you've been talking about this for a while, but so what? He don't want a Japanese wrestler as his champion. I mean, you go to Japan, you're not going to see an American wrestler as champion all the time.
No. But you got to remember, he didn't want Japanese on his TV. He didn't want Mexican on their TV.
He took those segments away.
Hey, bro.
I'm not talking about being a champion. I'm talking about what he said was he actually said on another interview that you will never see a black world champion on his TV.
I never heard that because he made Booker.
Oh yeah, I can send it to you.
Well, hey, he made Booker T now. He made Booker T a champion.
He did that after the lawsuit.
Okay. All right.
You can guess or not guess, but he changed his tune after the lawsuit.
So what are you trying to insinuate, that this guy might be a racist or what?
No, he is a racist, without a doubt. I'm not insinuating. If I use a race as a reason not to do something, or use a race as a reason to do something or not to do something, yeah, I would say you're racist. If I said, Ernest, you're my best friend, but you know what? Fact that you have African American, I can't, have you come into my house.
I mean, that's a bad example of how.
Or I can't work with you.
Okay, all right, that's more like it.
That's you cannot use race
as a
or
reason
religion
for
or
anything.
creed as a reason. If he said, I don't like Sonny Onoo, so I'm not going to put him on TV. Now,
That's different.
Well, let me ask you this. What about acting when they said we have the role of a 56-year-old black male, or we have a role of a 18-year-old Asian female? Is that using race as a avenue for a job?
That's gender, actually, because you just went two different genders.
Well, I don't look at that. Look at what I said. African American, 56 years old, man of a woman. Same thing with Asian, but they got to be Asian and black. So is that same bias rule too?
No, you're talking about hiring somebody. We're
Yeah,
talking about not
if you're
using
in a casting situation and the role calls for it in the movie script for this to, I mean, you can't have me come in there and play some Asian black lady just because I'm white. I mean, that won't work.
Well. I mean, that's you saying that. But I was in a movie called The Wrestler, and I played an Iranian guy.
Yeah.
Hold up. The Ayatollah in The Wrestler was set up for an Iranian guy, someone of that persuasion. But when I came in and they saw what I was able to do with the character, I'm a black man. They said, okay, you play the part, but you just played the part of an Iranian. So, Ray, what are you talking about?
I'm saying that
wrong. I just prove you wrong again.
You didn't prove me wrong because you said woman.
No. Well, that's where your mind goes. That's where your mind working. But we were talking about racism.
It ain't racism. If it was, they wouldn't have picked you.
What? You sound like Donald Trump. If it was,
they wouldn't have picked you to do the role. If it was racism, they would have went and got a Persian to do it. They
were looking for a Persian. They were looking for a Persian person for that position. That's what they said they want.
It doesn't matter. It's called casting. If you're the right person for the role,
look at Sonny Onoo right now and tell him what you just said. Vince Russo was casting. They call it casting. This is what Big Ray said. They call it casting.
No,
when Vince Russo,
it's
when
different.
Vince Russo, when Vince Russo,
it's different. It's different if you're saying.
When Vince Russo said, "Listen, I don't want any Asian guys or Mexican guys on my TV." That's type casting. They casting for a specific type.
No, they're excluding.
Ernest, you're talking about exclusion.
That's exclusion. When he says, I ain't going to have them on my TV, that's exclusion.
How about the Ayatollah? And they said, we can only get a Persian to play this. And then they said, oh, let's get a black guy to play it.
No,
because you did such a good job.
And Ernest, I got to tell you this. You played a part of Persian because you're a color person that you could use. You could play that part.
Bro. Hey, Sonny, you pushing the line right now.
Hey,
you part of the racist too.
Hey, listen, you're a person of color. So am I. If he was a Ray could not play that part because it's not believable. Ray could be
a person.
In most of people's mind, American fans' mind, Ray cannot play a Persian named Ayatollah.
At most, I could play a Greek.
Maybe.
No, hell no.
It's a
you can play a big M for McDonald's. That's what you can play.
Hamburglar.
Okay,
you play the part.
Go ahead, son. I'm sorry. Go ahead, son.
No, the point is, you cannot use race as a reason to exclude people. That's what he did
on TV.
Well,
anything.
I can't use a race as I don't want nobody. I only want Japanese guy doing my garden, using that stereotype.
Well, only white people can ride on this bus. That ain't right. You can't do that.
If it's a white bus,
you don't make a shit what color the bus is.
Hey,
What do you
this
think?
guy, hey,
What do you think?
watch
This is
that,
South
watch
Africa?
that cursing on the Cat's Corner.
Hey, Sonny said fuck about 4 fucking times already.
Hey, son, don't get us kicked out before we get on here, you fat rat.
Okay, I'll do a Japanese version. Haku.
Faku. There you go. Faku. But I'm just saying, you cannot exclude based on race, creed, or color. Now it's gender and sexual preference.
Hey, that's a rule, and we all know rules are made to be broken. So that's all I'm saying. They can call it one thing, but like Sonny says, racism. So I think it all should be a bunch of crap.
DEI.
It should be, hey, when I went in there to play the part of a Persian, think about this. I was going in just to act in the movie.
Sure.
So when I saw a part that I know I could be good at, it would be fun for me to play, I did my best. And I'm a black man to get that job. So why would they put only a Persian actor can play this guy?
Well, but first of all, it was the Ayatollah. Normally that would be an Iranian.
No,
but you did such a good job.
Hey, but who played the Ayatollah?
You did.
I'm all black.
You did a good job.
So I broke down the burials of racism. That's what you're trying to say. Are
you now carrying the Rainbow Coalition flag because you played a Persian in an Academy Award-winning nominated movie?
Ray, you like Donald Trump. You just go off the board too far, man. What that got to do with anything political?
That's my question. What does it got to do with anything?
Let's get back to Sonny. I'm not going with Ray. Sonny.
What if Davari would have been that guy?
Hey, man, listen. Shut up, Ray. Sonny, go ahead, Sonny, and give us your story. Finish your story. I'm sorry.
Last time I talked to Iron Sheik, he was mad.
Shut up, man. Hey, Ray. I'm one more time. I'm gonna cut you off. Go ahead, Sonny.
You can't cut me off.
Then what? Russo had a power. Now Russo will tell you that I didn't have power to fire anybody, but if you have a power to put people or program you into a television show, and he goes on to say, I don't want no Japanese, no Mexican on my TV, what is the executive they're gonna keep you? Because they're not gonna use you? That would be a waste of money. So he can sit there and say, I didn't have a power. I didn't fire Sonny. I didn't fire the other Mexicans. But one of the things that he missed out on, what he didn't know, was that the New Japan was paying WCW about $1 million a year on talent exchange program.
That's all.
That went away.
A lot.
And as you know, relationship between New Japan and WCW went away as well. Right after that. And matter of fact, the New Japan went on. It's matter of public record. Went on to say, when Russo was at TNA, and they came out and said, "Hey, as long as he's there, we don't want to do any business with you." That's what New Japan said.
But wait a minute, Sonny, did you get fired at that time? Did they let you go around that same time?
Yep.
And you think they let you go because Vince Russo said he was not using you?
Well, why would anybody keep you I just signed a 2-year deal. I just signed a 2-year deal just prior to that.
So answer my question. Yeah. Did you get released because Vince Russo admitted that he was not using any Asian guys or black guys or Mexican guys on the TV show?
He didn't say black guy. He said it was no Mexicans and no Japanese. He didn't say
and that's why you got fired, because they wasn't using you. That's the excuse they used, right?
I believe, and what I was told by J.J. Dillon, who called me and released me and said, "Hey, we're not going to use you anymore. Therefore, we're going to let you go."
Now let me ask you this right here. So if you were going to be used, they would have to keep you if you was on TV. True or false?
Yeah.
Okay. So who were you with before you ever got with not before, but around that same time? Who were you, a manager, a sidekick? Who were you with then?
I was managing you. I was managing.
Okay, stop right there. Stop right there. When
There's
you were
more though.
not, when
No,
you were
don't get part of my. Let me finish my answer. I was managing Yuji. I was managing you, and I was managing anybody who New Japan guy that came over.
Ultimo
but
Dragon.
you were known for who mostly at that time?
I was
were known for-
managing you, but
Okay,
you were
so
gone.
now, where was I going?
You hurt yourself.
You were hurt. I think you were gone.
Yeah. So, but from my medical bed I was in with my ACL being repaired, didn't I give you a call? And didn't I say to you, Sonny, when I called you, I said, Sonny, don't go out with nobody else. Like you were my girlfriend. I said,
like if I had any choice in that.
Listen, you don't want to listen. That's why you hit. That's
Listen,
why you. A hard head make a soft ass.
Hey, cut
Ernest,
all that cussing out.
Ernest, how am I gonna tell if a head booker says, a head writer says, hey, you're gonna go out with Nitro Girls. Are you gonna go out with Kiwi?
So let me ask you this. So if I, and I'm not going to compare the difference between me and Hulk Hogan or Macho Man. But if Hogan called and say, listen, once I get back, I want Sonny Onoo ready, waiting for me. That's who I want with me when I get back. What do you think they're going to do?
I don't know. You didn't make that call.
Yes, I did.
Who'd you talk to? You talked to Vince Russo?
I didn't have to talk to Vince Russo. I talked to the guy who's in charge because I told him
who's the guy in charge?
Dylan. Not Dylan.
JJ Dillon's not in charge.
JJ Dillon and Bush.
You told Bill
No,
Bush.
not Bush. What was the guy
He
name?
don't even know.
Who was the Four Horsemen guy? What's his name?
Arn Anderson.
No, not Arn Anderson.
Ole Anderson.
No, the guy who became the president. Who was that?
You said Four Horsemen.
Yeah, but not JJ Dillon. Who was in charge, Sonny? I can't think of the guy's name in charge. Old guy
Bush was acting
You
VP.
had Bill Bush. You had
and Vince Russo was a head writer.
Not Vince Russo. When he came in,
I don't know who the hell you talked to.
When I
talked to the janitor.
No, you was the janitor. If not, you were going to be going to the ring with him if he wanted so. Now, let me tell you this. At that time, it was Bill Bush. It was Bush and was it JJ? Who did JJ Dillon? Was JJ Dillon ever in?
Can't even remember who you talked to.
JJ Dillon was the manager of the Four Horsemen.
It's been 24 years ago. I know who I talked to. It was JJ Dillon. And JJ Dillon told me, hey, you look like you're going to be out. And now this is how we got to the conversation. I tore my knee on TV. I tore my ACL. And I didn't know it was torn. But once I went out and got the doctors look at it, they said you got torn ACL. You're going to have surgery. You're going to be out by 6 months. The first month or two I was out, they cut my pay by 10%. And then I called JJ. He said, well, it's in your contract. If you out 6 months, we're going to cut your pay. We're going to cut your pay until you come back. And I told Jerry, I said, listen, I won't have the surgery. I'll just come back and go to work. And he was like, no, you're doing good. We need you back fully repaired. So he said, go ahead. We'll take that out of your contract. Then I said, JJ, when I come back, I want to do the same thing. I want to be, because he was good about calling me, checking up on me. I said, I want to be with Sonny Onoo when I get back. He said, okay, just let them know that's what your anticipations are, that you anticipate being with Sonny Onoo. And I called Sonny, and Sonny, I said to you, don't go to the ring with nobody. Stay there. If somebody asks you to do something, say, I'm waiting on the cat. Get paid. You already signed your 2 years.
I don't have that kind of juice. I'm an employee just like you.
But didn't I call and ask you that? Didn't I call and tell you to not go out?
You told me to wait till you come back.
Okay, all right. But then the next week, Vince Russo talked you into doing what? going to the ring and going to the ring, not just with anybody, but with a Mexican. You just said Vince McMahon told you that he was not using Japanese and Mexican no more on the show. So when he put y'all two together, guess what he did? Now we can get rid of both of these guys.
I don't know what the point is.
The
point is, Cat wanted you to stay true to him and not do nothing.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, but I don't have that kind of juice. It's like,
and he knows that.
It's it's like if a manager of the McDonald's says, "Hey, you got to show up for work," but I don't want to work with that guy.
But Sonny,
what? Not show up?
Sonny, I was at home injured, and I thought enough about my friend once I heard what they were doing to try to save your job.
Ernest,
now,
I'd have been doing vignettes of you at home.
Did I or did I not do that?
No, I appreciate the sentiment. But okay. I don't have that kind of juice. I can't say, well, I'm not going to work with that guy.
I think you had the thing all set up because didn't you win a lawsuit?
I didn't win a lawsuit.
Didn't you get money from a lawsuit?
A lot of
money. Just like you did, I did, yeah.
A lot of money.
Just like you.
A lot of money.
Just like you.
Thank you. A lot of money. A lot of money.
Actually, they ended up paying me the same amount of money what my contract was.
So you got what they were trying to beat you out of.
Right.
So congratulations.
If I would have been booking it, I'd have had venues. I'd have had venues weekly.
Bro, is that the end of your story about Vince Russo?
Yeah, like I said, I didn't have a lot of interaction with him.
Yeah, but the story seemed like you came out on top. Cause you got the money you were promised, but you seem like you're a little upset and pissed off about the process.
What podcast?
Who wouldn't be?
I said the process.
Oh,
the process.
Well, yeah. I mean, if somebody says, "Hey, black man, I don't want you working for my company."
See, now you just want to get nasty.
Well, what did I say?
You just said, black man, I don't want to work. And you said it with a nasty, deep tone.
We're talking about the tone of voice now?
Yeah, that sound like it came from deep down in your chest. You understand what I'm saying?
I don't want to work with the Cherokee Indian either.
You've been waiting a long time to say black man like that. And you better watch yourself, Sonny.
I said black man all the time.
Well, you need to watch your mouth.
I call you a lot worse name that black man.
We'll make the air. Let's don't make the air with it.
Sonny, you keep talking like that on my podcast, I'm going to shut you off. You understand what I'm saying?
It's our podcast, Sonny. It's our podcast, and I like the way you talking to him, so keep talking to him like that.
Thank you.
Okay, so listen, Sonny.
Yeah.
You know, I hate what you went through, but I understand the story with you and Vince Russo, and I've been hearing it for years. And I just wanted to get it again on our podcast because this is what this segment is about. It's about stories of people that we've been around and worked with as pro wrestlers. So a lot of people don't know what we go through back in the back and behind the scenes.
In closing, I will say this. You and I have been friends for over 30 years. And you know how most of us, especially in martial art world, right? We don't take. I would almost say this, Ray, that we don't take things lying down. We don't accept things when we believe that it's wrong. We fight.
You fight for what's right,
and that's what we did.
Black power,
Indian power,
black power.
Yeah.
Okay. Cherokee people.
So now with you starting getting that off your chest, I feel good, man. I tell you, you look good. I'm glad you got that off your chest. That's why I wanted you on the podcast to tell your story about Vince Russo. Now, I want to move on to this right here. Everybody loves like your favorite wrestler. Everybody thinks your favorite wrestler is your best friend. Even if you might have got an autograph for him, if you have ever had opportunity to meet this guy, You probably got an autograph from him, probably took a picture. He probably smiled at you, winked at you, gave you a thumbs up. You know, this is your number one wrestling. And I'm a big fan of yours. And Ray being a fan and a smart mark, if you look around in his office, you know, he got a lot of Ric Flair stuff in there. He got the Ric Flair belt up there on his wall.
I think he's from same state, if I remember right.
Yeah, he got the thing. So, Big Ray, what I want to hear from you, Ray, because you've been so anxious to talk, to run your fat jaws. Now, I'm gonna give you the opportunity to tell me.
Listen, you don't have to attack his appearance.
He's so rude.
I can't help it. If I'm looking at him, I'm gonna talk about what I see. You understand what I'm saying, Sonny?
Yeah, but your tone of voice, the way you describe him, is derogatory and offensive.
No, it ain't derogatory. Listen, that what I just said.
You trying to fat shame
from my mouth?
Fat shaming.
What you heard coming from my
mouth, Ernest?
Hold on. What you heard coming from my mouth came from deep down inside of me. That's how I feel at the core. You understand what I'm saying?
That's
now,
cool.
Son, now let me get back to Big Ray. Big Ray, tell us some of your guys that you're number one. You're number one fan now of Ric Flair. So I want you to give me a Ric Flair story, how you guys met. And
I would say I used to be.
No, come on, Big Ray. Be more entertaining with your conversation.
Listen, I can jump up and down and light a match and make this as entertaining as you want. But the facts is this. As you call me a smart mark, and I've been watching this since 1975, I did kind of cater to Ric Flair when I was, coming along watching as a fan. But now as I've gotten older and I've seen with my own eyes what has transpired in people's lives.
Hey, bro, stop trying to talk in that Hogan voice and just use your own voice.
Listen, brother, I'm not giving you the Hogan voice right now, dude.
Okay,
I'm talking to you like Big Shug, manager of future champions, future Hall of Famers, which right now you're not one of. But if you keep hanging around me, you'll be a Hall of Famer one day. Listen, here's the thing.
What you shaking your head for, Sonny?
Because he's right. He knows.
You like that, Sonny? You like the way he talking to me?
Yeah, he should be on TV.
I am sometimes. But listen, so Flair and I met 30 years ago. One of my best friends was his next door neighbor. He bought a house from Blackjack Mulligan when Mulligan went back to Sweetwater, Texas.
Okay.
So kind of grew up. He'd come out on the lake. My dad owned the marina. He'd show up, blah, 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 blah. We were all in awe because it was the nature boy Ric Flair. When you a kid and you see this dude, it's like you watching Jesus walk, right? So as I got older and we got to hanging around, I could actually go to the actual parties that he threw. I got to see him in his outside of the ring persona, a little different than what you see on TV, obviously. Right. He liked to indulge a little bit with the alcohol and the women.
Ray, so, can you hold your story for 1 minute?
Oh, what you want?
Sonny, if you gonna wear those shades, can you straighten them out? Cause right now they lean into you. Now put them up. Yeah, thank you. You look ridiculous with the shades leaning like that. All right, thank you. Go ahead, Ray.
Anyway, we all get together, go to a few parties, hang out a few times. No big deal. See him at a few restaurants.
Hold on, you and who hang out?
I'm saying I'm in the crew that's around Flair. I'm not saying it's me, and I ain't saying it's me and the 16-time champ one-on-one hanging out, but I'm saying there's a group of 10, 15 people, and I'm one of them. And we've done this half a dozen times. So he's seen me, I've seen him. We've interacted, we've spoken.
Hey, I hear a little Dusty Rose in the old fat
Let me tell you, I seen Ricky Flair on the south side of Charlotte many nights. But anyway, so as it goes on, we of course separate. I moved to Atlanta. He's still in Charlotte. When I get back to Charlotte, he's moved to Atlanta. No big deal. No big deal, right? You and I go to the thing in 2016.
Slow down. Don't jump over all this stuff. This has been years. I've been knowing you for years. And years, you always... Look, let me tell you something.
I'm saying...
But people... Hold on, wait a minute.
You and I go in 2016.
Bro, do you know how to Do you know
Will
how
you
to
let me
work?
talk?
No, because this is my show. You
It's
listen to
our
me.
show.
Okay, now let me ask you this. I'm looking, where are you right now? You in where? Your office?
I'm in my office.
How old are you? 50 what?
53.
53 years old. Now, I'm looking over your shoulder at work, and I see a Ric Flair World Championship belt. I see the WWE Ric Flair Championship belt.
He never
I
held
see
that belt.
what is that blue thing up on the wall?
That is a robe that has Ric Flair's signature on it.
Okay,
I've
you
got
a
two of them.
grown man. You a grown man. You still got all that Ric
He's a
Flair.
fan.
I got plenty. Listen, I got plenty of memorabilia in this office.
Oh my goodness!
Mike
Look at that.
Tyson. I got Ronda Rousey. I
No,
got figurines. I got all kinds of stuff, dog.
bro,
All kinds of stuff.
bro. What in the hell is wrong with you, Ray?
I have
You can't find a better way to spend your money.
Well, I spent some money, but let me get back to it.
Okay.
So me and you and I hook up back in 2000-ish, early 2000s. 2016 rolls around, you and I go to a Monday Night Raw in Atlanta. Go back, meet Flair again, take pictures, everything's great. Okay. Then Flair has his episode where he goes into
man, no, Ray. See, you using
I'm just telling you want the story. You keep grinding me. You keep grinding on me.
Ray, don't use this man's illness as something to prove your story.
Why? Because it's factual. It's factual information.
No, everything is because you heard it on the internet. You don't know that man's medical record, so don't bring it up.
You telling me that he didn't have he almost died? You telling me he didn't almost die?
What has that got to do with you? Let's see how you going.
After that, we go to LA, you and I, and we run into him again. And this son gun blows me off.
We didn't. First of all, let me tell this story. We did not run into him. You walking around
him because we was gonna go see him.
No. Can I tell this part of the story?
Is it WrestleMania?
Go ahead.
Let me tell this part of the story. It was WrestleMania. Sonny, you know how WrestleMania, all the big stars and people with long lines are everywhere, all over the place.
The meet and greets.
This dude right here, all he does is talk about Ric Flair. So I looked down there, and Ric Flair line was long as I don't know what. And I said, hey, let's go see your buddy Rick. He was like, oh yeah, I haven't seen Rick in a while, man. I wonder how old Ricky is doing. Ricky and this and Ricky that. So I said, okay, when the line get a little shorter, we'll walk down there. We'll just go say hello to Rick. He said, okay, nice. So we waited right there for about an hour or so. We looked down there and I just knew, hey, the line is going. Come on, let's go. So he took off. We took off walking toward Rick line and Rick on room. We get to the door. There's nobody in line because everybody already gone. They getting ready to leave. He walked in front of me like he was walking on his toes too. He walking on his toes, his stomach out, chest out, neck drop. He was ready to go say hello to his good old best friend, Rick
Ricky.
So Ricky Flair. So he get there, Sonny. As soon as he get there, Rick look at him. Security guard looked like the damn Undertaker when he stopped him. He stopped him by his neck. He took his hand and put it around his neck like the Undertaker.
Telling a lie.
And put his hand in his head. Excuse me, sir. Excuse me, sir. Where are you going? He said, I just want to say hello to Rick. Security guard moved into the side. As he moved into the side, Rick was standing behind the bodyguard, and Big Ray put his arms out like, Daddy. And Rick walked right past it, kind of almost mush-faced him and said, hey, Cat, how you doing? And grabbed me and gave me a hug and said, hey, Cat, how you doing, buddy? I said, I'm doing good, man. And he said, well, what you doing here? I said,
who's the fat white guy with you?
He said, you doing pretty good here? I said, yeah. Then he looked over at Ray and I said, hey, by the way, this Ray, you know Ray? And Ray looked at him. He looked at Ray. He was like, he didn't look at Ray no more. He just shook his hand and said, hey, Cat, all right. Hey, I'm having a party by the room late on tonight. Come on by. So
don't bring your fat white buddy with you.
And we walked out, and Rick walked the other way. and this dude was walking in front of me. I kept trying to look at his face. I think this guy was crying. I think a tear was running down his eye.
Right.
Listen, he was so upset. Rick did not say hello to him or didn't treat him like he thought Rick was going to treat him. But go ahead and finish the story, Big Rick.
Fuck Ric Flair. That's basically the bottom line.
Well, defense of all the wrestlers, including Ric Flair.
Right.
It's our job. We see
Oh,
thousands of people.
I know. Listen, I get that. I get it.
And the fact that
Hey Ray, hey Sonny, don't call him fat.
I didn't say nothing about fat.
You said and he's fat. Oh,
I did.
Said in the fact. Okay.
And the fact.
Okay, all right, the fact.
I didn't say fat. I said fact.
Okay, I thought he called it fat. Don't do him.
See, that's
my
your
co-host.
DTM mind already putting a word in.
Let's not body shame this young fella right here.
No, you already done that earlier. You done that earlier.
He ain't fat. He's thick.
Thick. But anyway, I know that. But like I was trying to tell Kat, is I knew he did not remember me because of what happened. Not that he would remember me anyway, but I could have jogged his memory had we had more than 2 seconds to speak before he bypassed me and went straight to Kat and shook Kat's hand and was like, "Oh yeah, hey, how you doing? Hey, yeah, how you doing? How you doing?" But he had been through a lot over the last year and a half prior to that, so I kind of just didn't let it weigh on me. But the more I think about it, I just have to say, fuck Ric Flair. I'm done with it.
Like I said, no defense of all the wrestlers. We do see thousands of people.
No, I know.
And
it ain't but one of me.
We try to be friendly to everybody. I mean, we get people coming up and says, "Hey, do you remember me from, I took a picture with you," or somebody bring us a picture.
It could have been real easily done. I would have said, "Hey, I'm Buzz's buddy, your old neighbor Buzz's buddy," and he'd have been, "Oh yeah, man, yeah."
Right.
We didn't even get that. We didn't even get that close because he was in a hurry. He was trying to get to the bar.
Sure.
It was a mess. He just was rude. You know what I'm saying? He's probably been on his feet all day.
Ray, you didn't know where that man was going. Why you say he's trying to get to a bar? That's why I don't understand.
That's where he lives.
Sonny, we're going along with what you said. We as wrestlers meet thousands of people all the time. Yeah. We meet so many people. But then when you don't have time to treat them all like you would treat your best friend or something, they get mad at you and want to attack you. Like Ray just did with Ric Flair. We don't know if he was going to the bar. We don't know where he was going.
That's where you said he was going. You said
he did not. Ray, if you're going to be on the cat's corner, you ain't going to tell lies.
Listen, that's what you said.
But that's all celebrity, though. You know what I mean? I mean, on one hand, they have to be cordial to everybody, because they're your fans,
Right. And you don't have to be now, because I've seen a couple of wrestlers with fans and they wasn't very nice to them. They didn't even look at them.
Some of them like that, especially when they're playing a heel character. Yeah, I see it. But I think Ernest, you and I, we know the difference between when we're out in the public and you say somebody's hey and somebody recognize you one way or another, and I certainly always flattered and appreciate.
Son, I'm glad you're trying to cover for the both of us. You said you and I, not me. I don't even want to get near the fans sometimes.
What?
I don't even want to get near. Sonny is the one. He all happy go look because he always doing business. Sonny is always up there. Sonny can meet a guy here, connect the dots to somebody clear on the other side of the world that he.
Why wouldn't you want to be near the fans sometimes, Kat?
Because I just don't want. Listen. I like to do my own stuff. I'm a loner. I like to be alone.
You selfish rascal, you. I know Kevin Nash was rude to my wife one night in Winston-Salem.
Did she like it?
No, he was rude. He was rude to her. She was at a teachers conference in Winston-Salem. Y'all had a Monday night nitro in Winston-Salem up at Wake Forest at Lawrence Joe Memorial Coliseum, and afterwards they were all staying at the same hotel. and they were at the bar, and my wife and like 4 of her teacher friends were coming through, and she was like, "Oh my God." And she was like, "Hey, my husband's a big fan." He goes, "Whatever, Toots." He called her Toots. She ain't never forgot it. She's like, she said, "You ain't big sexy, you're big jerky." And she went and got on the elevator and went to her room.
Hey, Ray, that's her story.
Whatever.
Yeah. Why don't you call Kevin Nash and ask him his story?
He don't remember.
He might have called her a name or two, but it wasn't Toots. Believe me.
Whatever, Toots.
You know, it's not, like I said, we try to be cordial to people, but flip side of that, there's fans out there it's an idiot.
Oh yeah, there's crazy fans. I'm not. Listen, I wasn't trying to be like, "Oh my God, I remember when y'all, when Terry Funk Powell drove you on the table in Memphis, Tennessee." I'm not that guy. So I was just saying hello.
I'd rather for someone to be that guy than someone just trying to talk to me like they know me.
Like
I'd rather for someone
to
say, I'd rather for someone to come up and say, "Hey, I remember when you hit Scott Norton with this kick, or you did this, or you took this, or you said." I'd rather talk to those people. I don't want to talk to somebody who come up and say, "Hey, Cat, how your family doing?"
I remember when you had that bacon double cheeseburger in the drive-thru at Burger King in Athens, Georgia. You want something like that? Is that what you want?
So what I'm about to tell, Ray, just excuse Ray, he having some kind of nervous breakdown over there, fans. But listen, Big Ray, we want the fans to listen to this, hit that subscribe button. We want people to watch the Cat's Corner podcast, because we got stories like this we're going to have here all day long, baby. We're going to have more and more. We're going to talk about stuff that you ain't going to hear. People going to lie about. But I got Big Sonny Onoo. Sonny, thanks for coming on.
Thank you, Sonny. Appreciate you once again.
Ray, I just want you to know, if you really want to know about a dirt on Ernest Miller on the road, give me a call sometime. I'll tell you all about what happened to him, myself, Kaz Hayashi, and we're traveling together and Rockford, Illinois.
Take it easy.
That's what we need. We need more dirt on the Cat.
Hey, but you got to go and subscribe and donate for these stories right here. We got to have an after dark. We're going to have an after dark.
That's the behind the curtain stuff.
Yeah, that's what we're going to have, behind the curtains, after dark kind of Cat's Corner.
Yeah.
Well, we appreciate everybody tuning in today. Thanks for joining us on the Cat's Corner podcast. We'll be back with you soon. Thanks for joining us, Mr. Sonny.
I'll see you, Cat. I see you, Ray.